If we don't have internet freedom, we're not going to have freedom in our physical lives. Human rights extend to the internet, and if you're not protecting free expression, if you're not protecting people's ability to conduct a private life without pervasive surveillance, you're not going to have human rights in the digital world, which means you're not going to have human rights in the physical world.
So in Syria, it was a matter of life or death. So if you have internet freedom, you can really active and provide a civil society in countries where the police state is controlling everything. So for us, the internet was the base that we used to act the internet, or actually the civil society in Syria.
Are really important because with all the tensions that we have in the world today, with governments wanting to push back against a free and open internet, we need internet freedom initiatives in the US and with our allies to keep the internet open.
Oh, I think it's huge, and for me it's probably the biggest concern in my life. I mean, I know coming from a developing country, people think there should be more of a focus on food, healthcare, sanitation, education, all the other things.
En este momento, para la historia social, política cubana, la libertad de expresión en Internet es uno de los puntos neurálgicos donde se está decidiendo el futuro de la sociedad cubana, como una sociedad intolerante, autocrática o represiva, o como una sociedad que se va a abrir y que se tiene que abrir a ser más inclusiva, más tolerante y en última instancia participar del juego democrático de las naciones y ser una sociedad moderna. Es muy...
Well, there are two broad threats to internet freedom. One is censorship and the other is surveillance. And
so what's different today is that the internet has shown governments what the potential freedom is online, and they're pushing back against it. Another big threat is surveillance that's produced here for lawful purposes, that's used abroad to repress activists. And I think another big threat is the paradigm is totally shifting. We have these...
In other words, governments asking private companies and private service providers to restrict their services to achieve certain objectives, such as censoring content and surveilling citizens. So,
specifically in India, I think it's a set of very draconian legislation that leads to a very strong chilling effect, which is really affecting the way people feel they can communicate. And I think when you have a country that big, staying a democracy is hard enough.
First of all, the policies of the governments and how they are dealing with the internet laws, this is a big problem and big threat against the internet. Second is the companies who they are providing solutions and selling it for the policy states, for dictator states like Syria. What happened?
Well, obviously on the one hand, governments continue to be both protectors and threats to internet freedom, depending on where you are in the world. Private companies, increasingly, we're hearing, have great power over the internet and people's access to the internet and the information of people on the internet.
Sometimes I like to use a graphic, and there's a circle here with democracies, and there's another circle here with authoritarian societies. And I think policymakers and activists often assume that thanks to the internet, it's inevitable that these authoritarian societies will just go over here. But what I'm concerned is that unless we take care, unless we are proactive, actually what's going to happen is that we can meet in the middle.
well, I think we all agree that internet freedom is a key right, along with the four freedoms that Franklin Delano Roosevelt expressed. It is really an emerging area, an emerging battleground. And I think we all agree that there's a key role for the U.S. government to play in leading efforts to keep that space open and secure and to promote that vision among other governments, as the U.S. has been doing.
Giving people the choice to choose what works for them is very, very critical. And I think having openness, having internet governance, having policy decisions that keep things open and allow multiplicity of ideas enable choice. And I think that's something nobody will disagree with at this event.
One thing that tends to be a point of agreement is that the internet in general is a positive good for society, that it's done more good than it's done harm. I think another thing that people would agree on is that people should be able to secure themselves online. People should effectively be able to protect their privacy, to communicate one-to-one with each other, to organize themselves online, and all of those things require a minimum degree of security. I think everybody here would also agree that we're not there yet, that the network